What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Today, we will be doing a What's Next on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay, so this, it opens up, we see Falcon in action. I think that's fantastic. It's the first time we've seen him in his own action. You know, we introduced a few characters that we hadn't seen before, like Torres. I can't remember his first name, but I'm sure Keith will have it. And he could possibly be, well, down the road in the comics, he becomes the next Falcon. So it's good to introduce that character.
So you're gonna make me ask? Why didn't you take up the mantle?
Sam didn't give up the mantle. I feel like, he didn't feel like he was worthy, but he had to know they were going to give it to someone else. So far, if you watched our Theory Palooza, you're going to see that a bunch of our theories have gotten off to a good start in this series. Anybody else want to comment on that?
His first name is Joaquín Torres, by the way, and he does become the next Falcon in the comics. And with the rumor that we're going to meet Isaiah Bradley and possibly his grandson Eli Bradley in this season of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think there's a good chance that we may see Mr. Torres become the Falcon in this, especially if Sam does take up the mantle of Captain America. And the question you may be asking yourself, well, how does this Falcon come into his powers? Aha! The power broker gives it to him in the comics.
Actually...
And if you were paying attention like I was during the credits and you were going scene by scene, you see a cut, the power broker is listening. So I think that's a pretty good chance that we are going to meet the power broker in the series. But like the Theory Palooza that we saw, we can show it again maybe, I do think it is not going to be Carl Malice in this series, but I do think it is going to be Arnim Zola. And I do think that is how the Flag Smashers get their power. And I do think it'll be, if Joaquín Torres becomes the Falcon, that'll be how he gets his powers also.
Somebody is clearly giving out powers in this series, and I can't wait to find out who it's going to be, even if it's the Power Broker or Zola or somebody. But that one scene in this last episode, in this first episode, actually, in that one scene where we're seeing that Flag Smasher kick ass. Oh my God, that was amazing, and knocked Torres out. That was one hell of a scene. That was a superhuman punch. Clearly, it had to be.
Yeah, obviously some of the Flag Smashers are enhanced, and I think this is the only actual one that we've seen on. There was the only one on the show. The others were just wearing masks to cause a distraction. He had a mask on, of course, but he was the only enhanced individual among the Flag Smashers.
Now, we have seen in the trailer that Erin Kellyman's character does have superpowers. She seems to jump super high, but I think Dave's point that he made is very important because they do bring a lot of sort of NPCs into the fray to cause chaos. And I think that's going to be, it's going to maybe why they need to bring Zemo into the picture to help them figure out where the central or the leaders of Flag Smashers are, because they use all of these people to cause chaos on all of their scenes. And I thought that was really well done, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they kind of break through all that in future episodes.
Hello, girl, kick your ass.
So one thing that I do want to say about this episode is I'm glad that they're doing these a little bit longer than they did of the episodes of WandaVision. One of the things that we said multiple times during our What's Next of WandaVision was that we felt like the episodes were too short. And I'm glad that they decided to go with a longer form episode of this series. However, I understand that this was a pilot episode. I get that. It seemed like it was an awful lot of setup for a longer series, and I'm starting to wonder if 6 episodes is going to be enough for this series. I kind of discussed that with the other guys. I really hope that we see all of our theories kind of come to light. I hope that we're able to see some really awesome action scenes like what we saw with Sam Wilson. I really hope that we get to see something like some actual good fights between Falcon and the Winter Soldier, between the Flag Smashers, between Zemo, between all of these other potential characters that we think are going to pop up in this series. But is Dave going to reel me in?
I'm not going to reel you in now, just as I did reel in Keith with Zola. because I have nothing that states the opposite.
You know, and I think one of the major themes that they kicked off with this first episode, this pilot episode, is about Sam feeling like he is not worthy. Are we going to see an event that happens on this where he finally feels worthy? I do think we will. And I think it's going to be choosing to do the right thing over something that will cost him and his family. So I think at some point he is going to make a decision that is going to cost his family the boat and that house that he grew up in. And even though he's going to lose these and it's going to hurt, it's the right decision and he makes it. And that is when he is going to feel that he is worthy for the shield. But I have a spoiler alert. He's always been worthy of the shield. And it'll be nice to see him finally realize it. And I really hope that my prediction that at the end of this, we're going to see him flying in his Captain America uniform with the shield. I hope that comes to, I hope that happens because that'll be amazing.
One thing that I want to talk about, and I'm curious what you guys think about it too, and also all of our lovely viewers, our fellow nerds watching in the audience. What is going on with Captain America in this universe? Steve Rogers, Captain America. Where is he? Because I don't want to get too deep into the weirdness of the time travel and what that all means.
That's not how it works.
Well, that's what I heard.
Wait, but who? Who told you that?
Star Trek, Terminator, Time Cop, Time After Time.
Quantum Leap?
Wrinkle in Time, Somewhere in Time.
Hot Tub Time Machine?
Hot Tub Time Machine. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Basically any movie that deals with time travel.
Die Hard? No, it's not one.
This is known.
I don't know why everyone believes that, but that isn't true.
I'm gonna dive into that. Don't worry, no weird Doug theories this time around, but I am curious, did Steve Rogers actually die? Did he zip back to his alternate reality?
Yes. Yes, thank you. Steve, I have the most horrible news. Howard and Maria Stark were just killed in a car crash.
Oh no, that is terrible news that I'm now just learning for the first time.
I just can't believe they're gone.
Damn it, Buck.
What was that?
Damn Buick, that's so unreliable. Saved it.
What does this mean when Sam passes the shield on to the Smithsonian Institute to eventually, I assume that's the same shield that they gave to U.S. Agent at the end. But what does that all mean? That's where I'm curious where, what's next?
If you go slow-mo on some of the Captain America thing at the Smithsonian, it says after the death of his friend, Tony Stark, he has decided to retire. So the whole world thinks Captain America has retired and is not an old man because he went back in time and all that. So I think we may see some of that play out, and maybe we'll get a Chris Evans cameo as Old Man Steve here in this episode, or in one of these episodes, I should say.
What I was going to say was that, they just kind of say he's gone. They don't actually mention death. So, he's obviously not on a base on the moon, but he could be. He's just gone. That's the only explanation they give. I do like that they have Bucky making amends.
The whole point of making amends is to fulfill rule number 3.
You're a cynic, Doc. Of course, I completed rule number 3.
I am no longer the Winter Soldier.
I am James Bucky Barnes,
and you're part of my efforts to make amends.
So you did it all right, but it didn't help with the nightmares.
Well, like I said, I didn't have any.
Maybe that will get him to a point in his life where he feels worthy, so that down the road maybe he can grab the and become Captain America himself. But here's a theory I have. He's hanging out with that old guy. Well, it's not really much of a theory as to what she's going to do, but I think that the girl he goes on a date with is more than she seems. I don't remember them. They didn't call her name in the show, but she is the actress that was listed without a part. So I think she's going to turn into something. What it is, I don't know what, but keep an eye on her.
Dave, is she more than meets the eye?
Yeah.
And Dave, will her character transform into something?
No. If you're saying she's a Skrull, I don't know about that. But I guess I wouldn't be the one that would know. That would be you.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers,
I want to comment on something Dave said. I do think that other big theme, the one theme we talked about was Sam being worthy of the shield. The other theme is Bucky making amends. And I don't know if we'll see it this season, but I think we will see it down the line. And I think how that is going to play out is I don't think he's going to take over the mantle of Captain America. I think if what we thought in our Theory Palooza was true, we're going to see the Thunderbolts being formed and we're going to see Zemo kind of taking leadership of them. I think once he makes amends and they oust Zemo for what he is, that Bucky is going to be the new leader of the Thunderbolts in the MCU. He's going to have made amends. He's going to feel good with himself. He's going to be comfortable in the leadership role, and he is going to lead the Thunderbolts post Zemo.
If that is the case, which I would absolutely love to see that, I think that would be a great addition to the MCU. And I think it would be nice to have Bucky in a bit of a leadership role like that. But I wonder now, what does that mean for the Avengers? What is going to happen with them? We know that Wanda is possibly a supervillain now. Vision is, I don't know, maybe he's visiting Steve on the moon. So the Avengers, we kind of mentioned this in our Theory Palooza, they're sort of, we don't really know who is a current member of the Avengers. And if Bucky does join up with, this new group, the Thunderbolts, if they do happen to form in this series, or if it's maybe like something that we see as a final end of credit scene in the final, episode 6 or something, I don't really know how it's going to play out. But if that is the case, if that does happen, I really do wonder what that means for the Avengers, because it seems to me that Bucky and Sam didn't seem like they were a current part of the Avengers. I'm not entirely sure what Sam was doing. I don't know if he was on a mission with the government or with the Air Force or what that was in the beginning, but that didn't seem like an Avenger mission.
I think he mentioned that it was a government contract job. I'm not sure, but I think when he went to get that bank loan, that's what he was talking about, because he had no income for the last 5 years because he was blipped. And then he mentions that he has a government contract and that proves income.
You have no income over the last 5 years.
How can you have income if you don't exist?
Sarah. I've been gone, like several billion other people. But if you look at our plan, I have government contracts. So that's proof of earnings. And I know for a fact that we qualify for an SBA loan.
So I think that's what he was on a government contract with the Air Force.
Doug, I have a little Theory Palooza about what I think is going to happen with the Avengers. I think we're going to see the Thunderbolts form, and it's going to be the government-sanctioned team. And then once they are exposed as Zemo trying to take over the world, I think we're going to see the Avengers reform in whatever form that may be, if Captain Marvel's on planet, or Falcon, Winter Soldier, Ant-Man, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel. We have a lot of new characters coming into the MCU. I think they're going to reform based on this threat, and we're going to see them take out Zemo's Thunderbolts, so that then these characters who are kind of getting redeemed, the ones that want to stay on the hero path, are going to be led by Bucky, and then the Avengers are going to be an offshoot, because we're getting a lot of new stuff. We're getting X-Men, Fantastic Four, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Moon Knight. There's so many new characters coming in. They can really kind of have a new team formed. They just need that proper leader to do it. And is that going to be Sam Wilson, Captain America? I think it will be, and I think we're going to see that play out, and I think we're going to see him take a more leadership role in post Falcon and a Winter Soldier series or movies. And I do have a theory on what I think he may show up in next.
Well, let's hear it. What do you got, Keith?
Okay. Sounds good. So in this episode, when he's talking to James Rhodes, Rhodes says,
Be in touch.
And I think this is either going to have him show up again in Falcon and a Winter Soldier, which maybe not. He may show up to talk again. So they're going to be in close contact. And I think that may come into play in the Armor War series that we heard about during the, Disney Investor Day. And I think Sam or Rhodes is going to find out that the government is not only giving the shield to a crazy person as Captain America, but they have Stark tech and they are using it, and they're not using it well. And that would go against Tony Stark and how he wanted his inventions used. He didn't want them as weapons of war anymore.
That's good. That's why I'm here. When I realized what my weapons were capable of in the wrong hands, I shut it down, stopped manufacturing.
Tony, you chose to do that. If we sign this, we surrender our right to choose.
And I think that is going to get War Machine and Sam Wilson, Captain America, kind of taking the charge against the government and getting the Stark tech back where it should be.
Pepper should obviously have a say in that too, right? I assume she's still the CEO of Stark.
So, how are we doing?
Great, just wrapping up. Hey. You're the boss.
Will that be all, Mr. Stark?
You're absolutely right. She is the CEO of Stark. When she finds out that their inventions and their tech and their IP is being used by the government and without a government contract, I think she will definitely be involved. So it's not going to be, just an all-out battle. It's going to be sort of legal with maybe we get She-Hulk, maybe we get Matt Murdock into, taking the case of Stark Industries against the government. I think it's going to, play out on a lot more fronts than just, battling, a bunch of Iron Man Guardians or other war machines, whatever it's going to be. It's going to play out on many different levels.
So that's what we think is coming up next for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What do you guys think? We want to know in the comments down below. So make sure that you like and subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, and we're going to see you next time on Not Your Status Quo.